If you're listening to this and you're over 60, and there's something you've been carrying for years that you've never really said out loud, I want you to know I understand. I'm not here to tell you what to do with it. I'm not here to say you need to forgive or forget or let go in some grand gesture. I'm here because I know what it's like to smile when people ask how you are, even when the answer isn't simple. I know what it's like to live a whole life and still feel, sometimes, like there's a part of you no one ever saw. This isn't a story about blame. It's not about who was right or wrong. It's just a story about being human, about being hurt, and about what happens when you finally stop pretending you're not. If that sounds like something you need to hear today, then maybe this story is for you. Part 1. The Pain. No one asks about my name is Eleanor. I'm 67 years old, and I live in a small town in eastern Pennsylvania, the kind of place where everyone knows your name, but not necessarily your story. I raised 3 children here. I was married for 38 years. I worked as a librarian at the elementary school until I retired 5 years ago. From the outside, my life looks fine, maybe even good. But for as long as I can remember, there's been something underneath it all, a quiet ache that never quite goes away. It's not the kind of pain people ask about. It's not dramatic. It doesn't announce itself. It's the kind that lives in the spaces between things, in the silences at the dinner table, in the birthday cards you receive that feel like obligations, in the phone calls that never come. When I was younger, I thought I could outrun it. I thought if I stayed busy enough, if I took care of everyone else, if I kept the house clean, if I volunteered at church, if I showed up for every school event, then maybe the hurt would fade. But it didn't. It just learned to live quietly inside me. My husband Daniel passed away 3 years ago. Heart attack. Sudden. He was 70, and we had plans to travel more, to finally take that trip to Ireland we'd always talked about. People told me how lucky I was to have had so many years with him, and I was. But what they didn't know, what I never said, was that for much of our marriage, I felt alone even when he was sitting right next to me. Daniel was a good man. He worked hard. He provided. He never raised his voice. But he was distant, emotionally, I mean. He didn't know how to talk about feelings, didn't think they mattered much. If something bothered me, he'd say, "Don't worry about it," or "You're overthinking." After a while, I stopped bringing things up. I stopped telling him when I felt hurt by something he said or didn't say. I stopped asking him to sit with me in the evenings and just talk. I learned that it was easier to stay quiet. My children are grown now. Sarah is 43, lives in Oregon with her family. We talk maybe once a month, brief calls where she updates me on the grandkids, but never asks how I'm really doing. Michael is 40, lives 2 hours away. He visits on holidays, but there's a wall between us, has been for years. I'm not even sure when it went up. And then there's Emily, my youngest, 38. She doesn't speak to me anymore. We had a falling out 6 years ago over something that seems small now, but felt enormous at the time. Words were said, feelings were hurt. I tried to reach out a few times after that, but she never responded. Eventually, I stopped trying. I tell myself it's her choice. I tell myself I did my best as a mother. But late at night, when the house is quiet, I wonder what I could have done differently. I wonder if she thinks about me at all. People don't ask about these things when I run into someone at the grocery store. They say, "How are you, Eleanor?" And I say, "I'm fine, thank you." Because what else am I supposed to say? That I'm lonely? That I feel invisible? That sometimes I go days without anyone calling, without anyone needing me, and it makes me wonder what I'm still here for. You can't say those things. People don't want to hear them, so you smile, you say you're fine, and you carry the weight alone. Part 2. Learning to stay silent to survive. I wasn't always like this. When I was younger, I used to speak my mind. I remember being 22, newly married, full of ideas about what our life would be like. I imagined long conversations over dinner, shared dreams, partnership. But Daniel came from a different kind of family. His father was quiet, stoic. Emotions were weakness. You didn't complain. You didn't ask for help. And Daniel learned that lesson well. The first time I tried to tell him I was unhappy about something, I don't even remember what it was now. He looked at me like I'd spoken in a foreign language. "What do you want me to do about it?" he said, not unkindly, just genuinely confused. It wasn't that he didn't care, it was that he didn't know how. And over time, I learned to adjust. I learned that if I wanted peace in the house, I needed to let things go. I learned that my feelings were my own responsibility. I learned that love didn't always look the way I thought it would, and that sometimes you have to accept what you're given instead of asking for more. With my children, it was different, but the same. I wanted to be the kind of mother who listened, who made space for her kids to share their feelings. But I was also tired from keeping the household running, tired from working full-time, tired from trying to fill in the emotional gaps Daniel left. So when Sarah came to me at 16, upset about something at school, I listened for a little while and then said, "You'll be fine. These things pass." Because that's what I'd learned to tell myself. When Michael struggled in college, called home, feeling lost, I said, "Just stick with it. You're stronger than you think." Because I didn't know how else to help. And when Emily, sensitive, artistic Emily, told me she wanted to take a year off after high school to figure things out, I said no. I said she needed structure, needed a plan. I was afraid for her, afraid she'd make mistakes I couldn't protect her from. But what I didn't realize was that I was repeating the same pattern. I was shutting down instead of opening up. I was managing instead of connecting. And by the time I understood that, it was too late. After our argument 6 years ago, the one that ended our relationship, I replayed it in my mind 1,000 times. She told me I never really listened to her, that I always thought I knew better, that I made her feel small. I defended myself, told her I'd done the best I could, that I'd sacrificed everything for her and her siblings. She said, "That's the problem, Mom. You sacrificed, but you never actually saw me." Those words have stayed with me. I didn't understand them at first. I was too hurt, too angry. But over the years, as I've sat with them, I've started to see what she meant. I gave her everything I thought a mother should give, but I didn't give her what she actually needed. I didn't give her my presence, my attention, my willingness to be wrong. And now she's gone, and I don't know how to fix it. I tried at first. I sent letters, emails, birthday cards. All of them went unanswered. After a while, I stopped. because the silence was an answer too. I told myself it was her loss, that I'd done nothing wrong, that she was being unfair, but deep down, I knew. I knew I'd made mistakes. I knew I'd hurt her even if I didn't mean to. And the weight of that, of knowing I'd failed her and not being able to make it right, was almost too much to bear. So I did what I'd always done. I stayed silent. I smiled when people asked about my kids. I said they were busy, doing well. I didn't mention the one who wouldn't speak to me. I didn't mention how much it hurt, because I'd learned over a lifetime that pain is something you carry alone. Part 3. When age makes everything clearer. 3 years after Daniel died, I got sick. Nothing life-threatening. Pneumonia, but bad enough that I had to spend a week in the hospital. Sarah flew in from Oregon, stayed a few days, made sure I was settled when I got home. Michael came by once, brought groceries, and Emily didn't come. I don't know if she even knew I was sick. Lying in that hospital bed, I had a lot of time to think, a lot of time to sit with the silence, and for the first time in years, I stopped trying to push it away. I stopped telling myself I was fine. I stopped pretending the loneliness wasn't real. I let myself feel it, all of it. The grief of losing Daniel, the sadness of my fractured relationship with Emily, the hollowness of my connection with Sarah and Michael, the years I'd spent taking care of everyone else and never asking anyone to take care of me. It was overwhelming, but it was also clarifying, because I realized something. The pain hadn't gone away because I'd ignored it. It had just gone deeper. It had become part of me, woven into the fabric of who I was. And as long as I kept pretending it wasn't there, it would stay. When I got home from the hospital, the house felt different, quieter somehow, emptier. I'd lived there for 40 years, raised my children there, built a life there. But now it felt like a museum of a past I wasn't sure I recognized. I sat in the living room one evening, alone, and I let myself cry. Not the kind of crying where you're sad about one specific thing. The kind where everything you've been holding in for years just comes pouring out. I cried for the marriage that never felt whole. I cried for the daughter who wouldn't speak to me. I cried for the mother I'd tried so hard to be, and the one I actually was. I cried for all the years I'd spent saying I'm fine when I wasn't, and when I was done, I felt something I hadn't felt in a long time. Not peace exactly, but space, room to breathe. Over the next few weeks, I started paying attention to things I'd ignored for years. I noticed how often I apologized for things that weren't my fault. How often I said yes when I meant no. How often I minimized my own feelings to make other people comfortable. I noticed how much energy I spent trying to be what I thought people wanted me to be. And I realized that somewhere along the way, I'd lost track of who I actually was. Not Eleanor the wife, not Eleanor the mother, not Eleanor the librarian, just Eleanor, the person underneath all those roles. I didn't know her very well anymore, and that scared me. But it also gave me something I hadn't had in a long time, a reason to keep going, not for anyone else, for me. Tricks Part 4. Healing doesn't need to be loud. I didn't wake up one day and decide to heal. It wasn't that simple. Healing, I've learned, isn't something you do all at once. It's not a decision you make and then everything changes. It's small, quiet, often invisible. For me, it started with honesty. Not the kind where you confess everything to everyone, just the kind where you stop lying to yourself. I started admitting, at least to myself, that I was lonely, that I was hurt, that I missed Emily, that I wished my marriage had been different, that I was angry sometimes at how things had turned out. I stopped telling myself these feelings were wrong or ungrateful. I stopped trying to fix them or push them away. I just let them be. And slowly, something shifted. I started doing small things for myself. I joined a book club at the library, not because I thought I'd make lifelong friends, but because I wanted to be around people who cared about the same things I did. I started taking walks in the mornings, not for exercise, but because I liked the way the light looked through the trees. I bought myself flowers once a week just because I wanted them. These things sound small. Maybe they are. But for someone who'd spent most of her life putting everyone else first, they felt revolutionary. I also started being more honest with people. Not in a dramatic way, just in small moments. When someone asked how I was, I started saying, "I'm okay, but it's been a hard week," instead of, "I'm fine." Most people didn't know what to do with that. They'd nod, change the subject. But a few people surprised me. A woman from the book club, Linda, said, "I get that. Some weeks are just heavy." And we sat there for a moment, two women in our 60s, acknowledging that life is hard sometimes. It wasn't a big conversation, but it mattered. I also wrote Emily a letter, not to send, just to get the words out. I wrote about how much I missed her, how sorry I was for the ways I'd hurt her, how I wished I could go back and do things differently. I wrote about how I'd been so focused on keeping her safe that I'd forgotten to let her be herself. I wrote until there was nothing left to say, and then I folded the letter and put it in a drawer. Maybe someday I'll send it. Maybe I won't. But writing it helped me see things more clearly, helped me stop carrying all that regret like it was a secret. Healing, I've learned, isn't about fixing everything. It's not about getting apologies from people who hurt you. It's not about making everything okay. Sometimes it's just about laying down the weight you've been carrying, even if the hurt is still there, even if the relationship never gets repaired. You can still choose to be gentler with yourself. You can still choose to stop punishing yourself for being human. One afternoon, I was sitting in my backyard, watching the birds at the feeder Daniel had built years ago, and I thought about all the things I'd wanted from my life. The closeness with my husband that never quite materialized. The relationship with Emily that fell apart. The sense of being seen and known that I'd always craved. And I realized something. I might never get those things, not in the way I imagined, but I could still have a life that felt meaningful. I could still find moments of peace. I could still be kind to myself. That didn't erase the pain, but it made it bearable. Part 5. Living the rest of your life. Lighter. I'm 67 now. I don't know how many years I have left. Maybe 10, maybe 20, maybe more. But however many it is, I don't want to spend them the way I spent the last few decades. I don't want to carry resentment like a stone in my chest. I don't want to pretend I'm fine when I'm not. I don't want to keep shrinking myself to make other people comfortable. I've started setting boundaries, small ones, but boundaries nonetheless. I told Sarah that I need more than surface-level phone calls, that I want to actually talk, not just exchange updates. She seemed surprised, but she's trying. We had a longer conversation last week than we've had in years. It wasn't perfect, but it was real. I told Michael that it hurts when he only visits out of obligation, that I'd rather see him less often if it means he actually wants to be there. He didn't know what to say at first, but he's been coming by more, and it feels different, lighter. With Emily, I don't know. I wrote her one more letter a few months ago, a short one. I told her I loved her, that I was sorry, that I understood if she needed space, but that I'd always be here if she ever wanted to talk. I sent it. I don't know if she read it. She hasn't responded, and I've had to make peace with that. I've had to accept that I can't control whether she forgives me. I can only control whether I forgive myself, and I'm working on that. Some days are easier than others. Some days I still wake up feeling the weight of everything I've lost. But more and more, I'm also noticing what I've gained. I've gained honesty. I've gained the ability to sit with my own feelings without running from them. I've gained small, quiet moments of joy that I never would have noticed before, like the way the morning light comes through my kitchen window, or the sound of rain on the roof, or the feeling of finishing a good book and sitting with it for a while before moving on to the next one. These things don't fix everything, but they remind me that life is still worth living, even when it's hard, even when it's lonely, even when it's not what you thought it would be. I've also learned that healing doesn't mean you stop hurting. It means you learn to carry the hurt differently, with more compassion, with less shame, with the understanding that you did the best you could with what you knew at the time. And that's enough. You are enough. I wish someone had told me that when I was younger. I wish someone had told me that it's okay to not be okay, that it's okay to ask for help, that it's okay to say, I'm struggling, without feeling like a burden. But I'm telling you now, if you're over 60 and you're carrying pain you've never spoken out loud, you're not alone. You're not weak. You're not too much or not enough. You're human, and you deserve to live the rest of your life with a lighter heart, not because you've forgotten the hurt, but because you've learned to hold it with grace. Closing. I don't have all the answers. I'm still figuring this out day by day, but I know this much. It's never too late to start being honest with yourself. It's never too late to choose gentleness over judgment. It's never too late to lay down the weight you've been carrying and see what it feels like to walk through the world a little lighter. If you're listening to this and you're over 60 and you've been hurt in ways you've never fully acknowledged, I want you to know something. You don't have to fix it all. You don't have to have it all figured out. You just have to be willing to see yourself clearly, to treat yourself with the same kindness you've spent your whole life giving to others. Because you matter. Your pain matters. Your healing matters. And there's still time. There's still time to live differently, to love yourself better, to find peace, even if it's just in small, quiet moments. If you're over 60 and carrying pain, what is one thing you've never said out loud? And do you believe it's still possible to heal later in life? I do.